He's a good leader. Why? Oh, he's an asshole. People don't like him. What? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, I'm Jay Downrange. And today I'm freaking excited because we are going to be talking about leadership techniques, styles, tips, tricks, secrets, whatever you want to call it, of the Marine Corps. Now, when I first got out of the military, I was blown away by the differences in leadership and management styles that I observed in the civilian side compared to what I experienced in the Marine Corps. So I'm here to share these 5 things with you. And no, they're not getting in people's faces, yelling, screaming, pushing, shoving, fighting, all that fun stuff that's going to get you fired or arrested. No, man. These things are a little bit more subtle, but they make all the difference in the world. So whether you just enjoy military stuff and military content, or you're looking to level up your leadership skills, then this video is for you. And if you found anything helpful or you just enjoyed the content, make sure that you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel so we know which content you like so we can make more of it. If this sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get it started. If you're interested, here's the background. When I was in the Marine Corps, I did every leadership course that was available to me, corporal's course, sergeant's course, all these different things because I was genuinely interested in leadership, and I was kind of scared I would make mistakes, so fear also drove it too. But then when I got out, I got my bachelor's in psychology and my master's in business with a focus on leadership, and I'm gonna pull from all these different experiences. But look, I'm not the craziest, best, most badass leader that's ever existed. No, man, I'm a human and I make mistakes.
I made a huge, tiny mistake.
But that's why I'm here to share these things with you guys. So let's start with number 1, which is praise in public, punish in private. What do I mean by this? Well, in the Marine Corps, we made it a focus to not punish people that have rank in front of their subordinates or even their counterparts because it's super freaking unprofessional and it takes away from their power and their authority to conduct and carry out their duties.
You have no power here.
Which you don't want. You want the people that you assigned in charge to be confident in their duties so they can do them correctly. Let's look at this from the civilian side. This is the manager, the employees, and then the customers. This would be a manager coming in and correcting an employee in front of customers. I'm telling you guys right now, it's awkward as hell as a customer, and I'm sure that you guys have experienced this before, where you may be in line somewhere and the manager comes up and starts correcting the employee in front of you. Dude, it's freaking awkward. It's a bad look for the manager. It is a bad look for the employee. It's very embarrassing for the employee. And then it's a horrible look for the store because it ruins that brand. It just destroys the image that you have. We do something where we praise them in public, punish them in private. You can do one of those things where like, hey, this is Bob. He's one of our best sales staff. He's gonna take care of you today. Okay, you could praise them in public, push them off, whatever. But then when they make these mistakes, let it happen, and then you can punish them in private. Now, unless it's pertinent to safety, like if somebody's gonna get hurt, obviously you gotta step in, right? But for the most part, I see managers way too gung-ho to make these corrections on the spot. And dude, it is so nasty. I hate seeing it. Just let it happen. When they're done, you can explain to them what they did wrong and what they should do better to fix it. That's just the take from military side to civilian. Huge difference. And I don't know if it's more of an ego thing. I've noticed a lot of managers in those positions are kind of like, oh, I'm a manager and you're an employee. You just have to listen to me. So it's kind of an ego thing. It's just super unprofessional. Now, moving on, and this is a very unusual one, but it's eating. Yeah, eating. Let me explain. In the Marine Corps, we are told as a leader, you never eat before your Marines. You always let the junior Marines or the lower ranking staff eat first or get issued their gear first, whatever it is, you take care of them first before yourself. When I first got out of the military, and this is 10 plus years ago, I'm not gonna say the company name, but we had a little company party, the company bought food, and the first people to run up and eat were all the managers. They went in and just loaded up their plates and sat down. Me and a couple of my buddies that were former Marines were like, damn, that was disgusting, dude. What is going on?
What the fuck are we doing out here? I asked you, what in the fuck are we doing here?
Because we're not used to seeing that. It was a culture shock to see that managers would take care of themselves first over the staff. Mind blowing. Here's the thing. I don't know if anybody would really notice this, if this would be like that game-changing thing, but if you did that as a manager and you're like, hey man, I'm gonna let all you guys eat first. Is everybody taken care of? Did all the salespeople, did you guys all get a slice of pizza? Did everybody get issued whatever it was? Okay, good. Now I can come up and take mine. This really does set that example. Like I said, this is kind of a very unique one to the military, but it really can make a huge difference. Try this yourself and just set that good example. Now, moving on to the actual correction. This is number 3. I've seen great leaders in the military fix people and do it in such a way that not only does it correct that behavior, but it also empowers them and gives them the next direction to go in. It's the greatest thing ever. In the military, in the leadership courses, we were always taught that if you give somebody a negative correction, you want to give a little bit of positive feedback at the same time, because you want to fix that behavior, then you want to correct that behavior with that replacement. So it's almost a three-part thing. You give the negative correction, you give the positive feedback, you give the replacement behavior. This is one of my favorite examples because it's the most relatable. We've all had our parents at some point give us a correction without the replacement, where they're like, hey, put that down, don't do that. But the better option would be, hey, put that down, you don't know where it's been, go play with your ball instead. Now, in the civilian side, I've noticed that managers will use condescending, sarcastic, and passive aggressiveness to get these corrections done, where instead of telling somebody, hey, don't put the paper there, make sure that you guys are putting it in the printer correctly, you guys do great with this, don't mess it up now. So you can give that negative correction, a little bit of positive feedback, and that direct replacement. I can tell you guys right now, in the Marine Corps, if you do not give a replacement behavior, that black and white, you do not need to be doing this, you should be doing this instead. Marines will mess that up on biblical proportions. So you want to make sure that you give them that clear direction, and then you don't want to just break their spirits, you want to uplift them a little bit. For an example, I had a Marine come in one time, a Lance Corporal. Boots were muddy as hell. I don't know, was this dude like farming for beets or potatoes or something before he showed up to work? Uniform was completely out of regs. Pulled him aside, punish in private, right? Hey, you need to go back to the barracks immediately. You're gonna change your boots. You're not gonna stop at the gas station to PX or pass go and collect 200 bucks. You're going straight back, changing your uniform and coming directly back to work. Then you give them some of that positive. I'm like, dude, you're always coming in on time. Your uniform usually looks squared away. Don't mess it up now, man. You set that bar high, go home, change, come back and get ready to work, bro, and we're gonna kill it today. So you can give them some of that positive stuff at the same time. You don't wanna just defeat people and ruin their spirits. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't have to be crazy. It could just be like, hey man, you're usually squared away. What happened? Let's go home, get changed, come back, ready to roll, and let's get this thing. A little bit of positivity can go a long way for people and get kind of complex. Some people respond better to just the negative stuff. Some people respond better to positive things, but it's good to try all these things out and at least try to use some tact. Just because you're a manager doesn't mean that people are beneath you or anything like that at all. But I feel like some people get into that mindset where they're like, I'm just a manager, I tell people what to do. Easy as hell. Anybody can do that. But a good manager can know their staff, know how to treat people, and get it done correctly. That's the big difference between these two. Moving on to the next one. This is a good segue into it. This one blew my mind when I got out of the Marine Corps and I noticed that in the civilian side, people say, oh, a good manager is a guy that's an asshole. Like, you gotta be an asshole to be a good manager. If people like you, then you're not doing your job. And I'm like, what? I saw great leadership in the Marine Corps. These dudes killed it, got stuff done, and they were incredibly nice and great leaders. I feel like that's a super cop-out, so let's talk about it. The reason I say this is a cop-out, because this is super freaking easy to do. As an employer, you can go outside in the streets, pull anybody into your workplace, give them a list of things and say, hey, this is what employees should be doing, make sure they're doing it, and they walk around being an asshole to people, telling them what to do and what not to do. Bro, that does not make you a good leader, but being a good leader takes a little bit of time, energy, and you have to know how to treat people with dignity, respect, speak with tact, and give them some humility. And that's why a lot of people are like, I'm a good leader, I'm an asshole. Dude, no, man. In the civilian side, I get it. Proficiency is number one. So people don't care if you're a dick as long as you're getting things done. In the military, it's a whole lot different because now we have to respect you. And we also have to trust you. And trust is the big one. We have to respect that rank, right? Because we have to follow those orders, but trust is a big one. If you were to go in and try out for a special forces team or any type of units, small units and stuff like that, they do a little selection process at the end. So you could be the biggest, fastest, strongest, most hung motherfucker that's ever walked in front of them. And guess what? You're not going to be on that team because nobody trusts you. You have to find a balance between trust and proficiency. In the civilian side, they don't care. Oh, that guy's an asshole, but guess what? He's the best salesman we have. Make him a manager. Bro, nobody trusts him. Doesn't matter. Look at the sales numbers that he has. Bro, that sucks. People are going to leave this business. And companies and business owners do not understand this. And so everybody's freaking leaving. Then they're wondering what's happened because their best salesman is a piece of shit to people. So that's why I say this is a cop-out. This is one of those things that you really have to work on to be a good manager, bro. It just absolutely drives me me nuts when I see this used. Oh, he's a good leader. Why? Oh, he's an asshole. People don't like him. What? Bro, that don't make no damn sense. Get the hell out of here with that. That is 100% not true, bro. Disagree with me if you guys want, man. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm wrong with things. But for my opinion, I've seen good leadership done by good people. And I've also seen good leadership done by people that were kind of assholes too, right? So it's not a complete exception, but I'm saying that you guys can still be fair and treat people with respect in the workplace and be a damn good manager while doing so without the asshole attitude. That's just my take. Let's go ahead and close this thing out because we're on number 5 already. And this, my friend, is the do as I say, not as I do. And what the hell do I mean by this? In the military, I've noticed that once people get certain rank, they will start telling people to do things that they don't do themselves. Like they hold others to a standard that they cannot fulfill because they hide behind that rank. They're like, oh, I'm a sergeant now, I don't have to do that. And managers do this all the time. I've seen this way too often as a manager where they're telling people, hey, make sure everybody's showing up on time. I'm sick and tired of seeing that people are late. Meanwhile, that manager is freaking late. So you need to set the example. And in a leadership position, we learn this very early on. People are watching you and they're observing you. Whether you want to see that or not, whether you want to believe it or not, people watch people in leadership positions just to see how they behave. So it's very difficult if you're trying to enforce a regulation that you cannot maintain yourself. You're going to tell me I need to show up on time and your ass can't, and you're the manager, bro, whatever, I'm going to show up late. It doesn't matter because you're not doing it yourself. So in the military, we are always told, this doesn't always apply, don't tell anybody to do anything that you're not willing to do yourself. If you're telling people to clean out that trash, you need to be able to clean out that trash and you need to help them with it in that shared suffering. We don't necessarily have to do this in the military, but it is a great sign of leadership. So we had an officer come in, and if you're not familiar, officers in the Marine Corps do not take out trash. Okay, that's an enlisted person's job. But we had our officer come in and he walked over and grabbed one of the trash bags and everybody freaked out. We're like, no, sir, put that down, because we're gonna get our ass chewed out if we let him take out that trash, right? Because his rank is a little bit up there. He's like, hey man, no, back off. If anybody says anything, I wanted to do this, and he took that trash out. That was a huge flex nuts move. Get out of my face with that stuff, man. What the hell? There's little bugs around me, man. Driving me nuts. It was a flex nuts move for my lieutenant because it showed us that, damn man, this guy has humility, bro. Like I have so much respect for him because he brought himself down to our line and he did it with us. So when he comes in and he says, hey, make sure the trash is taken out, I'm like, this motherfucker does it himself. So yeah, I'm gonna listen to him. This is one of those things that it doesn't necessarily apply all the way and all the time in the military, but good leaders set themselves apart by doing this. Because guess what? If you're a manager, you're telling people to clean up all the time. Let's say the employees leave, guess who's gonna be cleaning up? You, right? So it's super interesting to see the differences of military leadership and civilian leadership and how we can take some of these traits that we have in the military or that we learn in the military and apply them to the civilian side. The military is no exception for having bad leadership. We definitely have bad leadership in the military and in the Marine Corps. You're gonna have good and bad leadership no matter where you go. There are just some things that you guys can use in your toolbox to make yourselves better leaders or maybe step up that game a little bit. Hopefully you guys found at least one of these things useful and you can use this to elevate or up your leadership game, whatever walk of life you're in right now. And thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. I have so much respect for you guys, and if you did find something helpful, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe so we know to make more content like this for you guys. So on the screen is going to be a video that I made just for you, and until next time, see ya!